lot of great ways you can use your time inside during the winter to enjoy your garden, and one of the best ways is to grow microgreens indoors. Now, microgreens are not sprouts, they're actually small baby greens, and there's a lot of different ones that you can use. Lettuces, obviously, but you can do spinach, you can do chard, you can do all kinds of different herbs, you can do broccoli or cabbage. Anything that's leafy and green make great microgreens. And the most interesting thing about microgreens is not only are they really nutritious, so they're highly nutritious, even more so than a fully mature plant, but they're also super easy to grow and packed with all kinds of flavor. So the microgreens are just intense flavor of whatever it is that you're growing. So if you're doing a little bit of purple basil, the purple basil has just intense basil flavor, even more so than the mature leaves. And same would go for, say, arugula. And they're super easy to grow, and you can do it without even having a window to grow them in if you've got the right equipment. Now, the right equipment that I'm talking about would be a Nano Dome. Now, the Nano Dome is just a standard nurseryman's tray. It's a 10 by 20 inch tray. It's just a plastic with no drainage down the bottom, so no holes in the bottom of this one. And then we've got a taller greenhouse dome, so we can grow whatever we want to grow inside here and let it increase in size. Some of the other domes are a little bit too short for doing microgreens because we want a lot of those greens to get about that tall. So we're looking at about 2 to 4 inches is what we're going to let these greens grow to for a mature size before we start harvesting them. And the Nano Dome comes with not only the dome itself, but also with a light. And the lights that come with them, let's see if we get that, there we go. Didn't want to fit on there. The lights that come with them are made by a company called Sunblaster, and Sunblaster makes a fluorescent fixture that has a reflector, and the reflector has technology in it that will actually split the light. And so instead of being just a mirror and reflecting the light rays back down into the greenhouse, it actually splits them and amplifies the light. So the Sunblasters are amazing indoor lights. They're full spectrum, so it's got the full spectrum of light waves in it, and it burns at the right temperature. So the color of the light is the temperature. So it burns at the right color. The plants love it when they're small and maturing and just starting to grow. So this is at 6,400 watts Kelvin, and that's the color of the light, and the plants just love that particular color of the light. And since the dome is notched, you can see the dome has notches in it. The light fixture will fit right inside those notches and keep it from sliding around. So the Nano Domes work amazingly well, and they're built for light fixtures. If you have bigger light fixtures, you can actually do multiple Nano Domes and sit them lengthwise this way, and so you can do 2, 3, or even 4 Nano Domes at the same time if you want to grow a whole bunch. If you have a 4-foot fixture, you can do 4 Nano Domes, so it works out really well. The other thing that the Nano Domes have is a vent, and the vent is very helpful, because as your plants start to grow, as they're germinating, you want to keep those vents closed so it retains the extra moisture in there. As they really start to germinate and start to grow, you want to open those vents up so you get good air circulation, and then your plants won't mildew and start to deteriorate, because if you get too much moisture in there, all of a sudden your plants all start wilting and dying. And so you need that good air circulation after those plants really start to germinate and get growing. So super easy to do in a Nano Dome like this. You've got a lot of different selections of varieties that you can grow, and one of my favorites is our lettuce mix. And we've got a lettuce blend, and I've got it ready to put into our tray. The lettuce blend has 5 different kinds of lettuces in there, so we're going to do our lettuce blend in our tray. What you want to start with inside the tray is something to germinate those seeds in, and you've got a couple different options. So we can put seed starting mix. So Fertilizer makes a wonderful seed cutting mix that we can put down in the bottom of your tray, and you don't need a whole lot. You really only need about a 1/2 inch, maybe an inch at the most, but we're not talking a whole lot of soil for them to germinate in, because we're not going to let those root systems really develop a whole lot. Just enough soil for them to develop and kind of create a mat in there of root system, and then we're going to end up cutting those greens off and utilizing them. Great thing about the microgreens is once you start cutting them, they'll grow back. and then you can cut them again. So you can get multiple cuttings off of one batch of microgreens. So about a half an inch, probably more like 3/4 of an inch to an inch of a seed starting mix works great to start your seeds in, and they'll have plenty of soil for them to grow down there in the bottom. The other thing you can use is a germination pad. Now, a germination pad is, let's cut this open. Germination pad is just a fiber, and you can grow plants just in the pad itself. There we go. And it's made, of course, to fit perfectly in our tray. So the pad is just a natural fiber, and it just fits just right in the bottom of your tray, and it absorbs and holds moisture. So you put that tray, that pad just right in the bottom of your tray, and then take your seeds and sprinkle your seeds in there, and we'll just sprinkle a nice coating of seeds on top there. And you don't need like a ton. You would do it just like you're planting them out in your garden. So you can plant them a little bit heavier because we're going to be trimming them off, but you don't need a lot of seeds. So as you can see on the lettuce, we're only talking about a tablespoon of seeds because that's how much was in my scoop. That's about a full tablespoon. So about a tablespoon of seeds down in the bottom of that tray. Then all you have to do is add a little bit of water. And I wouldn't put too much water in there, so just enough to allow the mat to absorb that moisture up. We don't want a lot of excess water down the bottom. Put your dome back on, close up your vents so that retains the heat and the moisture. And of course your light fixture will generate a little bit of heat. So not only does it have the light that it's producing, so it's just like having a miniature sun right there in your house because it produces the light, but also generates a little bit of heat. And so the heat that it generates will actually cause the moisture inside there to evaporate and condense on the top of the dome, and then it drops back down like rain. So it will keep that moisture in there and keep recirculating it around until that seed germinates. Once the seed germinates, open up your vents, and then it'll allow that air to circulate. At that point, you'll have to water them just a little bit every day to keep them moist and to keep them happy. Once they get that 2 to 4 inch stage, which takes only about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, you might want to add a little bit of fertilizer into the mix. There's some great natural fertilizers that you can use to give those plants an extra boost so you can get that little bit of growth out of them that you need, and very safe to use in a situation like this. We're in a hydroponic system as well too. Fertilize them just a little bit, and as they start to get about 2 to 4 inches, you can start trimming those off and use them in salads, or use them in sandwiches, or use them in garnishes, and they're highly nutritional and just packed full of flavor. And it's really a lot of fun to do the microgreens and to get those growing inside. We actually put ours on our shelf in our pantry where the sun never shines, and the light fixture takes care of everything that the plants need, whether it's heat or whether it's the light. It will take care of all that. You can just put it on a shelf and forget about it, and just water a little bit as it needs it, and it takes care of itself. So location is not critical. You don't have to have a perfect spot to do it, but so easy to grow your own microgreens and enjoy those indoors throughout the winter and even during the summertime as well.